So I was looking at my channel page, and I've noticed recently I haven't done too many color drawings. I've done a lot of pencil work, a lot of the step-by-steps. That was pretty much my most popular stuff. But I haven't done anything with landscape, and I wanted to change that. I've actually gotten a few requests on to do a video on how to do a landscape. So I think I'm going to do that right now. And a painting. I got a great response from the portrait that I did recently, so I kind of want to follow that up with a landscape. And at the end, you're going to see me put my own twist on it, of course. But the imagery is actually from Hawaii. I went there on my honeymoon. I have to say, it's the most beautiful place that I've ever been on this planet. I've been to other beautiful places on other planets, but on this planet, it's all about Hawaii. And I really wanted to document that photo for a while, so I'm going to take an opportunity to do that. I'm starting out with acrylic paint. You've never seen me use acrylic paint before. Reason I'm using acrylic is it dries very, very fast, and I'm going to put oil paint over the acrylic paint. In a few minutes, I'll let you know when I do that. But basically I'm getting the shapes in with the acrylic paint. I'm also doing some blending with the acrylic paint. I'm using something called acrylic retarder, which slows down the drying time a little bit of acrylic paint. But the whole point of me using acrylic paint is it's fast. I do not like acrylic paint as much as I like oil paint, but this just lets me get the basic shapes in. Almost like how those of you who've seen me do what I do with the markers, that lets me get things done really, really fast. I'm working on canvas paper for this one, which is basically a piece of paper with canvas on both sides. It supports paint very, very well. So I'm working on canvas paper. Otherwise, I would start with the markers, but I wanted to do something different. Change is good sometimes. Colors that I am using, I have a very simple palette. Magenta is the red that you see. Cadmium orange, cadmium yellow, a little bit of dioxazine purple, cobalt blue, lamp black, and titanium white. Those are the colors that I'm using. I'm going to use a very similar palette with the oil paints, with a few more colors in addition to that, and I'll let you know at the time. Okay, big thing I want to talk to you about in this video is something called chroma. And chroma is the intensity of color. And a lot of people think when you do a sunset, you can use a lot of bright colors. I have to say it's quite the opposite. Basically, just like I always say how shading is relativity. It's one area compared to another area. It's the same thing with chroma. I'm using the grays in the areas away from the sun to set up the sun. I'm using brighter colors, higher chroma colors there, and I'm using duller colors, of course, in the other areas. When I taught painting, chroma was the toughest thing to teach because, let's face it, everybody likes to put colors down, especially bright colors, or so it seemed when I taught. But what people do not realize is you need the gray to set up the colors. People ask me, Merrill, what's your favorite color? I would say gray, even though technically it's not on the spectrum. It's not a color, but it's almost like a good point guard in basketball. Good point guards set up the other players to score. That's what gray does. It's dull, it's boring, but it makes everything else look really, really good and makes everything else pop out. And if you keep putting just like bright color next to bright color next to bright color, nothing's going to pop out. It's almost like Las Vegas. If you think about it, the buildings in Vegas that really stand out are the ones that are not lit. Everything is lit in Las Vegas. I think that's an accurate analogy for what we're trying to do here. It's the things that are different stand out. And looking at the sun, or the area where the sun is compared to the other parts, it starts to pop because the other areas are are different in tone and also in chroma. And again, chroma being the intensity of color. Hope you got all that. I go a little bit nutty with my layers. I love the depth of paint. That's one thing that like you could draw forever, but your drawings will never compare to the depth of a painting. Um, yeah, I recently recommended to somebody to go to the Metropolitan Museum of Art and just stare at a Rembrandt for a long period of time. That's an education in itself. If you really want to learn to paint, you look at a master like that. Um, Man, some of his paintings must have taken a long time to make. They are so detailed and so layered. I'm not so much interested in the imagery of Rembrandt. That's a little bit boring to me, but the way he paints, man, good stuff, really good stuff. Anyway, back to the sunset. We are still on the acrylic paints. I'm about to transition to the oils. I'm just trying to put a little bit of texture in the sky. The clouds are layered. I'm trying to hint at, the winds blowing and, the clouds being kind of like stormy up above. And you're going to see me cover that over. You're going to see me glaze over that in a little bit. Paint is great. You can always manipulate it. Oh, one more thing. Actually, I have several more things, but one more thought right off the top of my head. This is pretty relaxing. Like, I always do portraits. The portraits, basically, if you get a nose slightly off place, you lose the likeness. You get an eye slightly off place, you lose the likeness. Landscape painting, if you mess up on the branch of a tree, it's still a tree. This was a nice break. I think this is like the first one in like 10 years that I've done. I love doing people. My fascination is definitely drawing and painting people. There is the oil paint. I let the acrylic paint dry. This painting took a total of like 3 hours, I would say, but only about an hour of it was, an hour and a half maybe, was painting time. I needed to allow some drying time for the acrylic paint. The oil paint I just did straight through, because that takes at least 2 days to dry. Notice the difference in the paint. The oil paint is thicker, and it's so much easier to manipulate. It's almost like acrylic paint is acrylic paint is a plastic, and you're painting with plastic, and then you put the oils down, and it's like butter, man. It's really cool. You can move stuff around so well, and I was really fighting the acrylic paint. And it's so easy to manipulate, how thick you put it on or how thin you put it on. And that's also important. That gives you a lot of depth in the work. You're going to see me do some glaze layers up above. You're going to see me darken this. Here we go. Yeah, now I just took a little bit of, I'm also using lamp black. And dioxazine purple, that is a really strong purple, but it's also a really good glazing color. And I went in, I combined both of those colors, and now I'm going over, and you can still see the blue, and you see how much more in depth that is right there. I'm using a little bit of orange in the sky. I'm really varying the sky. When I went to Hawaii, it was amazing. The sky was actually green at times. When the sun goes down right over the horizon, you see what's called a green flash. It's like the moment that the sun goes over the horizon. It was like the most amazing thing I ever saw. Got too much darn pollution in New York here. Oh well. If you really were looking hard a second ago, you saw me with the paper towel. I just dabbed the canvas, and that's a definite advantage to painting too. You don't like something, oops, just take a towel, you pick it right up. Very easy. I'm saving the happy little trees for last, as Bob Ross would say. Yeah, when you do a landscape, this is an important point. When you do a landscape, you kind of work from the background forwards. The closest things to you, you put the details to them in last. Now it's starting to look like a sunset. Ah, here comes those trees. I kind of struggled with the leaves, to be honest with you. I should have waited until the paint dried for me to put these down, but I get antsy. I love doing people. And landscapes, it's like, okay, we're finishing this. Let me just finish this fast. I shouldn't have done that, though. I kind of regret that. But I was able to salvage it. So there is a Karate Kid bonsai tree. I'm sure it has a different name, but I know there was a store that sold them, and that was the name that they used. When you do, well, when you're looking at a sunset, everything else in front of you is black. Everything else is in silhouette. And, you can put hints of color in. You can see me do that actually with color pencil in a few minutes, or in a minute or so. But pretty much everything is black, and you want that strong contrast. I'm using a variety of brushes, a variety of sizes. If you notice, I have big trees, I have small trees. The rule with that is the closer that it gets to the horizon line, the base of the tree, that is, the closer that the base of the tree gets to the horizon line, the smaller that you make it. It's just a perspective. I can't talk right now. Sorry. When you want to give it the illusion of perspective, closer that the base of something gets to the horizon line, the smaller that you make it. There we go. I got that out. In a second, you're going to see me use color pencil. Here we go. Yep. And I'm just going to put a little bit of detail in. Usually I wait until it dries. I wait until the paint dries. But for whatever reason, I was rushing this today. And I'm just putting in the details. I could have put in even more sophisticated details. That's what I'm trying to say if I waited a little bit longer. But as you can see, I put in the grass. I hinted at the color of the roof in the background. I made it a little bit red. But even if something is a strong color during the day, during the sunset, it's not going to be very strong. And you're going to see me glaze over it in a little bit. So I always, I put something down, I assess it, I judge it, and I either add more or I take some away. And in this case, I take some away. I'm using the color pencil also to highlight some clouds. This was fun. I think I will do another one again. I usually get like supercharged when I get an idea. And this was like, alright, you know what? Let me just chill and relax. Definitely want to go to Hawaii again. Anybody who has not been to Hawaii, oh man, it's a life-changing trip. It really is. Love the lifestyle there. We move way too fast here in New York. Way too fast. But I love New York too. I guess for finishing touches, all I did was I used the painting medium and a very, very soft-tipped brush, and I'm just like smoothing it out. There's like a little bit of paint on the brush, and I'm just kind of like pushing everything together. When you paint, use several brushes. I know everybody wants me to say, a certain painting strategy, like, this is exactly how you do something. But really, each artist has to figure it out for themselves. Oh, look, it's a little old man and his friends. For the record, he doesn't exactly exist, but, I save all of my drawings as PNG files, and I do that so that I could reuse them. I just took a digital picture of the painting, and now I'm putting, my previous drawings in. I have thousands of these characters. Some of them, date back, 5, 10 years. I just found them, scanned them, and recycled them, I guess. But, since this scene had no people, I got to put the Merrill touch on it. I'm all about the people. Love drawing people. And I'm using Paint Shop Pro to do this. I guess I'm too dumb for Photoshop. I don't know. I never quite figured Photoshop out. I do own it, but Paint Shop Pro 9 is an ancient program. It fits my needs perfectly, so I haven't really moved on. All right, that's all. Thanks for watching. Please leave me a comment. Let me know what you think. Take care.